Hello everyone, and thank you for coming to our session today. My name is Alan Philish. I'm on the Outlook product team, and I'm going to be taking you through a quick session, 20 minutes, where we're going to jump through all the latest improvements to Outlook on the web, as well as give you a glimpse at what's coming next. So this is going to be just a demo on demo on demo. We're going to pop through a whole bunch of demos. I've got demos for about 20 minutes. So we've got a bunch of content, so if you can hold your questions to the end, I'll stick around and feel free to answer a ton of questions afterwards, but I want to make sure we get to all the awesome demos as we go. So with that, I'll jump right into some of the improvements we've made since last Ignite. So the first thing I wanted to share was actually our document collaboration experience. And I know your first thing you're saying is, Alan, you guys have been showing this at Ignite for like 2 years now, so what are you doing? So while we have had this document collaboration experience for a while, we actually just recently made a change to how this works. When we first rolled out document collaboration and the ability to edit these cloud files in SharePoint and OneDrive, the cloud attachment experience automatically permissioned the recipients, in this case Sarah, to be able to edit the document. This actually resulted in quite a few issues that you guys may have run into. If you share with a large group of people, like from a DL, or if you try to have if your recipients ever try to forward your email, they run into issues where they'll forward the email, the recipient then responds to that saying, oh, I can't access and edit this document, then the person who you sent it to has to reach out to you to permission the person. And basically, it ended up in a low quality experience that users didn't trust and feel confident in because they weren't sure when they sent a cloud attachment that the recipient was going to be able to edit. So instead, we've made a change here. Well, you'll now read that by default, these cloud attachments appear to be sent to anyone in the organization can edit, is the permissioning set on this document. And so in this case, this now enables all the richness of a regular attachment. So the ability to have that attachment, forward an attachment, send it to a large group of people. However, it still retains all the goodness of that cloud attachment. So it's sort of the best of both worlds. Now, I know a few people, whenever I show this to them, they're like, oh, Alan, like, is this less secure? Are users going to be sharing documents that shouldn't be shared with other people? Into that, I say nonsense. And I say that because it's really identical to what we have today as a regular attachment. If you just attach a file and send it to people, they can do with it as they would. And so this sort of mirrors and parallels that traditional attachment experience. You can always come in here and change the permissions and set it to only the recipients can view and only the recipients can edit. But by default, we'll sort at a different level. Now, before you ask, this is fully admin configurable. As an admin, you can set this however you'd like. You can set the default as well as what the options are available. So it's fully admin configurable. Now, another scenario here is, say I add an external employee. So in this case, I now have this nice tooltip up at the top. Again, previously what you would have done when we first launched this cloud attachment experience is you would have sent this email and your recipient would have responded back, I can't access it, and you'd had to go through all that back and forth, which was really annoying. Now, Outlook is going to notify you before you actually hit send that this person is outside my organization. I have permission set that only anyone in the organization can view. So now it not only notifies me, but it actually tells me what I can do to fix that. In this case, it says try changing the permissions. So I could, for example, say anyone can edit, save this, and now I'll be able to send this document. Both the people inside and outside my organization will be able to collaborate and work on this single document, single source of truth. So as I said, fully admin configurable here. So now I want to talk a little bit about email. Outlook is obviously the hub where people come to do a lot of communication, do a lot of their projects. But oftentimes the communication happens here and then you want to jump out to other experiences and other apps in order to do that work. I think we've shown this to you several times, so this won't be new to anyone, but there's really 3 ways that you can do this. The first is add-ins, which is what I was saying we've shown you before. The second is actionable messages, and the third are connectors. So I'm going to show you all 3 of those really briefly. So first, you can see here that I've got add-ins. The difference, and we've shown you these before, but these add-ins are actually located in a new point. They've been moved around the UI a few different times as we tried to settle on where the best place for them is. We sort of settled on all the actions you can take on an individual message are now sort of bunched together here in the top right. So in this case, if I need to use Boomerang, or if I want to add this directly to my Trello board, I can go ahead and do so right here from Outlook without having to jump somewhere else. This saves you time, makes it easier to get things done. Now, the other important thing I want to call out here is when we showed this last Ignite, this was only really available in web and in Outlook 2016 for Windows. This is now available in Outlook for Mac, Outlook for iOS, and Outlook for Android. So the experience, if you're thinking about add-ins, either buying some from the store, using some from the store, or creating your own for your own organizations, these are now available as a write once, use anywhere type scenario. So your users will be able to take advantage of these in any platform. The second one I want to show you, so that's add-ins. The second one I show you is actionable messages. So this is something we've recently released, and it actually allows you to take actions directly in the email. So add-ins obviously allow you to do these rich experiences sort of in the same experience, but this allows you directly within the email to take action. So for example, this was a survey for, imagine this fake customer wanted just to get a survey on how awesome they were doing. You could come in here, say, oh, I'm giving you a 6 out of 10, and provide an answer and actually send it directly here from email. So these are great for scenarios like approving invoices, sending surveys, or any of these other standard workflows you have within your organization to get work done. So these work, they're things you can create for your organization purposely to integrate with certain tools you guys have, or they can, of course, third-party developers will now be leveraging more of these. So you can see, like for example, Trello has sent their set up their notifications such that now when you get a notification from Trello and it comes into your inbox, you can actually take action on it right here. So I could choose what due date I want for this item. I can select what list I want to add on. I can add a comment, or of course jump fully into Trello to take care of this. So again, this is just great experiences directly here in Outlook. And the third one I want to show you, and I'm actually jumping over to my actual personal inbox, so hopefully nothing secret showing there, is connectors. So connectors are a way of connecting with apps and services outside your organization and bringing content from those apps and services directly into Outlook based on actions triggered in those applications. So that was a mouthful, but basically what I'm trying to say is you can connect, for example, Visual Studio online, right? So imagine you wanted to follow along and alert a large group of people when a certain feature, or when every time a feature in a certain group moved to shipped status, for example, right? So in this case, you could set up a connector, and every time that happened, that would trigger an event that would send an email in Outlook. Now, this could get messy in a personal inbox. You could imagine immediately being overwhelmed with a lot of email, but these work phenomenally for groups. You can imagine setting up a group of people who all want to be specifically aware of a certain set of activities, whether you can imagine it's a bunch of people on the tracking news about Ignite. You can set up the Twitter connector to send information directly into your inbox. Or you could imagine, again, working on a shared set of to-dos on Trello and having those notifications come directly into your inbox as well. So switch gears a second and actually talk about the new contact card and profile experience. This is something we actually showed just briefly in Satya's keynote, so I wanted to give you just a little bit deeper look into what we've done here. So the demo we showed in the keynote was this new people card, and specifically you can see here that it has contact information, who this person reports to, information about their LinkedIn profiles, emails they've recently sent me, files, and so I can see all this rich information right here. But what we showed just briefly was this full flyout. So I can click into this contact card. So from anywhere in Outlook, but really anywhere within Office 365, you can see all this rich information about this person. So all the information from the gal, their automatic reply, their full org structure here, so I can see where they report in the org. This is one of my teammates. I can see the files we've been working on recently, as well as the emails we've exchanged recently. So if you're looking for something, of course, you can always use search, but imagine you're directly in Outlook. You can just tap on someone's face and get that information. And here, again, the new thing that we demoed briefly at the keynote was the ability for you to get their Ignite information, or excuse me, LinkedIn information. So here I can see Steve Kahn. I can say, of course, I recognize that that's the same Steve. In fact, he uses his picture his LinkedIn picture and his work picture are the same. So I can just click to select that as the right match, and that will sync these two things together, and then I will have access to all of his LinkedIn information here. So I can get all the information I need to know about him right here, or jump to his full profile on LinkedIn. And that will pull in his information here, so I can see that all listed right here in the contact card. All right, so let's talk a little bit about search. So search is something that we're super focused on. We hear a ton of feedback that search is super critical and we need to do a little bit better job on search. We've been working and trying and continuously improving it. It's been getting better week over week. But this is a big area of focus for our team, and we're going to continue working on it until we get it perfect and obviously as good as some of our competitors can do. So a lot of the work that goes into search is actually all behind the scenes. We're actually integrating all the Bing technology that powers Bing search to actually power all of our search in Office 365 and our search in Outlook specifically. So that's going to help improve the quality and effectiveness of search. But we're also doing several things on the user side to improve that as well. So let me show you a couple of those. So here, when I just click into the search box, before I even start typing, I've got this sort of zero typing experience for search. So this leverages obviously recent search queries as a basic one, but then this information on the bottom is actually pulled from the Microsoft Graph that Satya talked a lot about, right? The fact that we know so much about you in Office 365, we can know that when you search, you're often searching for these people, or these people are really important to you, and so you can just click on them to quickly search for emails from Sarah, for example. In this case, though, I'm just going to search for Northwind. And there's a couple things I want to point out here. First, you'll notice at the top of this sorted search results, you actually notice that there's an option called top results and then all results. This is something we just recently released, where we're actually not just sorting all your search results, most recent to oldest, but in fact trying to get smarter about that. You may have the word Northwind referenced 1,000 times in your inbox, and just a generic newest, oldest search doesn't really help a whole lot. In fact, we can probably have pretty good probability on our side of what you're actually trying to search for, and therefore pull some of those top 3 suggestions right up to the top. So in this case, I could see that this one would be one that was from a while back on 8/10 up here, but it's actually surfaced as the most relevant result. And so you'll still get the full set of results down here available for you to search. But we'll put some of those top items up for you. And of course, without using any extra search syntax or anything complicated, I can just quickly say, filter my search. So for some of your users who aren't good at typing in the 2 parentheses and everything else, I could say, do a couple of filters just in my inbox, just from Garth, and I can find the item that I need super quickly. So let's move along to calendar. So calendar here, the thing we've been most focused on with calendar is improving and simplifying the process to create and schedule a meeting. So here I am creating a meeting. You'll notice again that Microsoft Graph information is pulled in, so I don't even have to type because it knows I'm often likely trying to do meetings with Sarah. You'll see this new suggested time section on the right. This is actually, think of this as a mini version of the scheduling assistant. So in fact, I'm getting suggestions here of times that are free for Sarah and I. So I can click on those, and I don't have to jump into the full deeper scheduling assistant just to find a time that works for us. And I can change that, say, to an hour meeting, and then that will reframe and say, okay, only 3 to 4 is available for you. Of course, I can jump into the full scheduling assistant if I want to get that richer, deeper experience, but I sort of have a quicker view to get in there. The other thing I wanted to share was actually this new poll for finding a time to meet. Many of you may be familiar with Find Time, an add-in that was released as an experiment by our Microsoft Research Garage. It caught on, was very interesting for a lot of people. It wasn't something that was fully fleshed out as a commercially viable project. It wasn't built to Office 365 compliant standards and everything else. It was available as an add-in. So the Outlook team is taking all that work, as obviously we've seen a lot of customers be excited about that add-in, and building it natively into Outlook. So instead of having it be a separate add-in, it's just going to be a core feature of Outlook. And so you can see here I could add a time. I can just click into the scheduling assistant and just choose a set of times that work and send that off to Sarah for her to vote on which times would work best for us. All right, and thirdly, and I'm going to jump over to my personal calendar to show this just because it's still in process. So we're also improving the location field in the meeting creation process. So traditionally that's just been literally a text string, and if you wanted to have a conference room or something, that was actually added as a person or on the invite. And so what we're doing is actually building out the location field to make this a rich entity and provide suggestions right in here. So you can imagine these are some of the most, this is actually my mailbox, these are some of the places I set up meetings all the time. So it automatically suggests some of these, and notice what they are. So like this one, JJ's office. But imagine if I go in and add a different person like John, I'm trying to meet with John, this information gets smarter. Instead of showing JJ's office, it actually updates. So it knows when I'm meeting with John, here's the rooms I often select. So actually John's office is the better place for that. And also suggests conference rooms I often choose. And it lets me find available free rooms that are available in the building that I choose. And this looks like it's going slow. Let me trigger that again. Well, anyways, while that's working, you're going to be able to do a couple things here. You enter text. You can enter actual conference rooms, and it'll show you free busy right in this conference room experience. You can also enter actual locations. So this will search off the Bing. And apologies, this doesn't seem to be working, but so I could say I was trying to schedule it for a Starbucks. I can pull in information and choose like a local Starbucks, and so those entities now can be put right on the invite there. All right, so we just got a couple minutes left, so I want to show you one more thing before we finish up and take some questions. So performance has been a huge priority for us. And I want to show this chart super quickly. We've been adding a ton of features to Outlook on the web to make it comparable to Outlook on Windows. It's been a huge ask. People want to use web, but it doesn't have all the features. And so we've been on a journey to do that. As we've done that, the size of the bytes over the wire has continued to increase, as you imagine, adding more features. And so we recognize this, and while if you're in the US, you're fine. If you got into some areas with low bandwidth, you could actually start to see pretty long load times. And so the last couple years, we've taken a huge stab at decreasing the size of the bytes over the wire there. You can just see this graph a little bit. You can see how small we've gotten it, actually about half the size that it started with just over a year and a half ago, to make that performance and load time much better. But we're not stopping there. This is the past, but we're actually going to continue to improve this. Are any of you guys familiar? Whoops, I gotta shut off the. Are any of you guys familiar with our Outlook.com beta that we've got out for consumer mailboxes right now? Okay, 1 or 2 people, great. Then this will be cool to show you. So right now we're testing a new version, the next version of Outlook on the web that we're rewriting to make it even faster, more performant, more beautiful, more modern looking. And so I'm going to actually toggle this. You don't have this. This is only available for consumer mailboxes right now. But I'm toggling this to show you a look at the new version of the Outlook web experience. And so I'm actually going to jump into this Ignite folder. So this new Ignite experience, this new web experience, like I said, is rewritten so that it's going to be faster, it's going to load much more performantly, and is much more beautiful. You can see the pictures here, as well as rich information directly in the message list. So if I see really quickly that there's this image I want, or this document, I can see the title of the document. I don't have to go searching through and trying to find which email had that specific item in it. And more importantly, I think, and you saw the whole web browser refresh, so this isn't cached or anything. I'm going to click on this Gabe Long article, or email, sorry, and you're going to see it's a large thread with lots of people, how fast it loads. So to see that, how fast that was? I don't know if any of you guys use web today. It's a lot slower than that. So you can see just how fast and performant this is. So as I jump between these, you can see just the experience of sort of going between this inbox, sent items, Ignite demo, etc. So super fast. So we're already making big strides, but this is going to be lightning fast when it comes out. So we're continuing to test this on consumer mailboxes today. Once we fully flesh this out, we will then, of course, make it available for commercial organizations. We don't want to be beta testing on you. So I'm right at time right now. I'm just going to show you 2 more or 3 more features in this new experience, and then I'll wrap up. Obviously, feel free to jump if you got other sessions you want to go to. So I showed you speed. You can see the beautiful new UI. The other change is just the search experience. So again, you can see that sort of no typing experience here, and I can go ahead and search. We got a great filter for all these folders. Note that this is something that's going to support the full set of search criteria I just showed you. But the really important one to show you here that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about is the ability to search for a person. And when you oh, sorry, it's actually searching that in all my folders. I was like, I definitely have email from this person. So say I search for Michael, and I find his information here. I can actually favorite him. What favoriting does is adds him as a folder, essentially, over here on the, think of this like a search folder, right? So I can be in my inbox and be like, oh, I need email from Michael, or John in this case is my boss. So I can click on John really quickly and get access to all his, if it works, all his information right here in this new search experience. So obviously having a little glitch there, but that will be really exciting as well. So lastly, of course, we're just showing if you go to Outlook.com and you use a consumer account, you can see that new email experience. There's a lot of work to do, so don't be worried if there's a feature that's currently available in the commercial web experience that's not yet there, because we're obviously focused on delivering it for consumers first, and then we'll blow it up to a larger extent for commercial customers. The other thing I just want to show you in a couple of screenshots is the calendar experience. So this is still in process of being built. You can't test this yet, but it's really simplifying and beautifying the calendar. Again, focused really most importantly on that speed, as we know that's really important for people using the web. And we also do want to do a couple things like you can imagine a simpler sort of quick compose for a meeting that does natural language processing. So you can just type in meeting with Bob at 5 p.m. on Tuesday and it automatically puts it on your calendar, just automatically pulls that information out and drops it on your calendar. So it's just an easier simplification, an easier process for creating a meeting. And lastly, the people experience. So again, this leverages that contact card that you've seen now a couple times in Satya's keynote in here. But just that overall modernized UI and design and speed coming to all parts of the Outlook web experience. So with that, I'm a couple of minutes over. I'll wrap up. Thank you guys very much for the time, and I'll stay after to take questions. Appreciate it.